that must have been about 2 years ago, where year and a half ago, where like I decided, hey, I'm just going to try to I caught myself trying to do as little as possible on YouTube. That's I'm guilty.
Yeah,
as charged.
Why?
You might have noticed. You're like, hey, everybody has noticed. They're like, hey, how come? What are you doing? How come there's less videos? How come the quality and all that?
Yeah.
So,
well, I'll tell you from my perspective. I think you went full-time YouTube and you were posting a new video every day, right?
yes. So then I hustled like crazy while I was at work, engineering job for the 1 year before I quit.
Yeah.
I hustled about a year after, and then afterwards I'm like, hey, look, I could do nothing. So then I think that kind of got into my head.
What did you do all day when you were doing nothing?
Think about life.
Hmm.
At first, you can do whatever you want. So watch a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
I watched Star Trek. It was fun.
That's good.
I watched all of them.
Nice.
All of them that I wanted to watch, right? And then I think about like minimalism,
Yeah.
right? Trying to declutter, trying to think about, what's the meaning of life?
Mhm.
You get kind of deep into that, and then I think if you can listen to someone else, it's probably better to like go, oh, I want to retire and go do it yourself for 2 years, and then realize that it's kind of boring, kind of sucks, and then
Yeah.
come back from that.
My impression was that you were more like a homebody.
I am, and I don't know how much an introvert you are, but
Very
like
much, yeah.
I'm probably more introverted than both of you combined.
I don't know
if you're
about that. I don't know about that. If I don't have to leave the house for a week straight, I don't think I
can't
would.
be
Maybe
because-
one. Yeah.
You can't be, because you're inviting me over to have this coffee hour,
That's
right?
true. I guess so. Yeah.
But I'm so much so that I haven't done these podcasts before.
Yeah, I know this is the first one. I think, right?
One like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I
honored,
did.
yeah.
I did one other, not really a podcast, but it was more like a collaboration. But that's like a rare thing, and I've got and if anybody's watching that have invited me, I deeply apologize, because I'm super introverted. I'm like, I just want to stay at home. I don't want to talk to anybody.
We tried doing this 2 years ago. I mean, it didn't work out.
Oh, you're gonna bring that up.
But I didn't see that as your fault. I think our timing was just kind of off. That time, I think you were out of town for one weekend that we were going up to the area to visit a house nearby.
Yeah. I would chuck that towards me being kind of like too introverted. It was like yeah.
That's fair. That's right. No, I could tell because right before COVID hit, I saw your video of you prepping. You called it, by the way. You said that
a few months before.
Yes, you said, I think it was about a month before, you said, there's no way we're not going into lockdown. They're going to do this, so I'm going to prepare myself ahead of time. So you locked down 2 weeks prior to everyone else, and you called it.
People are like, you're crazy.
Yeah, but you were right. Now, I don't know if that extra 2 weeks on top of everything else, but...
I guess it didn't matter, but, at least it lets you buy supplies. But in the end, the supplies didn't matter too much.
Yeah.
Because it didn't pan out to be as crazy as I thought.
Right.
So about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, is when you said that you decided to go like take it easy off of YouTube, and then you weren't working at the time. You wanted to just basically full on retire.
I think it's more. It's not something I decided. It was kind of like my mind just kind of fell into it. Like I was kind of like, why am I hustling so hard? Why am I, doing this, doing that? I just got lazy. It's like when you have when your retirement number reached its point, your goal, right? You're like, oh, I'm there. Let me take a break.
You know what it is? It's diminishing returns. It's like in the very beginning, going from like 1 to 2, you doubled. Going from 2 to 4, you doubled. But when you have 100, going from 100 to 101, not quite the same enjoyment as going from 1 to 2.
Once it reached there, it's like, oh, I don't have to do anything. I just let the just try to invest it and let it ride, and I can just goof off.
Yeah. Now you've had some really good investments and some really bad investments. The one investment I remember you making was in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about this?
That was just more of a coincidence again. Because because a lot of subscribers just kept on asking me for Bitcoin. So like after like months of this, right, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to look into it. So I finally looked into it, and then I got some, and then it turns out, it skyrocketed.
What price do you buy
soon
in?
after? It was kind of like gradual, like I forget, 2,000, 3,000 or something. But then I ended up selling at like 1,750.
Right.
But that was I don't know, 5x. I remember it was a 5x gain.
Yeah.
So, it's a nice chunk of change, because the total I made wasn't that much. I didn't put like, multiple tens of thousands or something. I think I made a total of 20, 30K or something like that.
That's still fantastic, though. That's a good return.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you ever buy back in Bitcoin?
No.
What do you think of it now?
It's kind of high.
You think so?
It's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's kind of stable. So then it's not something I want to put my money in for huge returns. Yes, because there's the other cryptocurrency that I bought into.
Yeah.
Dogecoin.
Yeah. So what prompted you? You put a lot of money in Dogecoin.
What prompted me?
Why Doge?
It was, I think it made the headlines in the news when it did the first ramp up to around 5 cents. It went from 1 cent to 5 cents. And then that was also a coincidence, because I was like, I need something that will get me a Roadster. Do you want a Roadster, by the way?
I would if he's ever going to release it, but I don't think he's going to release it. Listen, I think the Roadster was always this little carrot he was dangling in front of all the Tesla owners. And here's the thing. I think the Roadster came out, like 6 years ago, like the first designs of it. It was a while ago. And I think now the car looks outdated, unfortunately. I think the entire car has to now be redesigned. And I don't think there's any way he's going to sell that car for $250. I don't think so. Not when the Plaid is selling for $150. I don't think he's able to manufacture this car for $250. Not $100,000 more.
That's the Founders Edition.
That's the Founders Edition. But even $200, I think it's got to be more than that. I don't think the battery is capable of doing 500 miles. I don't think. I think he has to improve the car in so many ways, because right now the Plaid 0 to 60 in under 2 seconds. This Roadster has to do that in 1.7. It's got to be now.
I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna sprinkle some magic on it.
My guess is at some point they're probably gonna cancel the Roadster, refund money, which is gonna be a nightmare. But they're gonna come out with something else. Or they're gonna say, if you put a deposit down on this, we'll offer you either the money back, or you could get first in line on this next car that we're coming out with. I think it's got to be. It has to. The same with the Cybertruck. I've been saying this for a while. I think the Cybertruck is such a long way from actually being a roadworthy car, and I put down a deposit on that just for fun. If they come out with the Cybertruck, I'll get one, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Same with the Roadster. Yeah.
So about the Roadster, I was like, I really want one. So then I decided to find somewhere to invest that would have huge gains. And Dogecoin kind of fit my criteria. That's why I put money in it. And I'm like, okay, Dogecoin, it looks like you can do, what was it? It can do like 5-fold reasonably, or whatever number of fold, right? So I'm like, that has a good chance of doing what I wanted to do. So that's why I invested in that.
How much you put in?
Initially, what was it, like 50K? Right now I have about 72K in it. So I have an even number of around 1 million Dogecoins.
Wow. But what prompts you to do because that is a risky investment, and it could just as easily go from 5 cents down to a penny. Why risk so much money?
I didn't see it as a risk.
You didn't. Why?
I saw it as I saw the risk as highly reduced because I saw all the things match up. It's like Elon Musk, that you know, and that's probably the main thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I looked into it, and I mean, it worked out. Right now, it's still like plus 200% or so. So
you have not sold it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have plans to sell it, or are you waiting for that 1 year and you get long-term capital gains?
1 year, and then I'll see what happens. I feel like if I wait long enough, it might do another what do you call skyrocketing?
Sure.
Thing, whatever ramp up that it does, it might happen, and if it does, then I can be there to receive.
Do you think it'll reach $1?
I maybe.
Okay.
But I think I don't know. Like I can't predict the future. Right? I don't know if Dogecoin's gonna do that. But I always think that you need to put something somewhere to get lucky, right? You gotta put your, what do you call it? Like place your bets, kind of.
Yeah,
like.
sure.
If you don't have a couple things everywhere, you know, just so that you have the possibility of something like that happening, then it's never gonna happen.
So why don't you put a little money in Bitcoin right now?
Because I know it did really well. Okay,
Yeah.
like it went from, what was it? Is it like 30, 40K or something? No, it's 60.
Yeah,
it doubled.
61 in 35 days.
Sometimes
Nuts.
you can't catch them all. You can't catch them all. Right? I missed Shiba.
Yeah.
Inu.
Oh yeah.
Like,
What do you think of that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, maybe if I like put all my Dogecoin at the time into Shiba,
Right,
then, oh my gosh, then I have a yacht or something.
Yeah,
right?
you would have probably $20 million had you just moved Dogecoin to Shiba 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, or like even longer. It's ridiculous, right? Yeah. So there's a lot of missed opportunity, but the hard thing is to find out which one, and sometimes something that you would actually follow through and actually invest.
Yeah. So far, every bet that I've made on that, I call them bets because that's what they are. They're bets. Everyone has lost money. So usually I'll tie these bets to how many likes a video will get. And so I did this with Dogecoin. I did this with AMC. And I did this recently with Shiba Inu. And so I bought, one was, I think, $10,000 of AMC. I bought that. That's down like 30%, but I'm just going to hold that. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
The other one was 10,000 of Dogecoin. I think I'm down 35% on that too. And then I bought Shiba Inu. Guess how many Shiba Inus I bought?
I don't.
$10,000 worth of?
Like
No, how many of them?
like
I
a
think
billion,
I don't know.
1 billion.
No, not quite. I'll just tell you. 260 something million Shiba Inu coins. It was like $7,500.
That's a lot of coins.
Yeah, 260 million.
How has
of
that
them.
treated you?
I think I'm down a little bit, like briefly, but I said I was gonna hold it for a year, and I'm intending to hold it for a year. But I also set a limit order to sell just in the event there's a run. So that way I don't have to think about it. But I set a very high limit where I'd essentially, like, if I double my money, I'd be stupid not to sell it. So it's like, it's there. I'm not gonna sell it, but you know,
It could happen. It could very easily happen.
Yeah. So because I've lost money on everything else, I'm like, at least if this does well, I don't want to lose money on this. I need something to just hold me over on the others. Now I might tax loss harvest Dogecoin at the end of the year, because if I'm down, I could use that to at least offset something else and buy back in, lower my cost basis on that. Same with AMC, but yeah, they've not gone well for me.